Count down nicely. He always goes 5, 3, 1.
The bottom line is he was rich and he was young. And he was a ruler, he was an influential person in the society.
Welcome to Energ-Aid, a program for young people just like you and I.
As growing up as a refugee and being able to go to school and being a doctor, you know, it was...
Wow.
Yes, because how do you learn more about him if you don't doubt?
You don't doubt. Wow.
By the way, you can't even trust God if you don't doubt. Do you know that?
Welcome to Energ-Aid, a program for young people just like you and I. My name is Karl Chokotho, and in studio today I have my dad, Karl Chokotho, and we'll be talking about stewardship. Welcome, Dad.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I was going to call you Karl, but
Yeah,
I'm
go
afraid.
ahead.
Okay. So we're talking about stewardship today. What is stewardship?
Stewardship, I'd like to say, is living a life that recognizes who God is and who we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
And could you explain some more? What does that exactly mean?
Well, in many cases, I think some people try to segment stewardship into a box, put it into a box as if it's not part of the life. But everything that we do, everything that we are, is supposed to show that we are stewards. In another sense, you need to come to the realization that we are not, you know, we were created, so there is an owner, and so we're just managers of everything that God has given us, including the breath that we've been given, the time that we have. Yeah.
And stewardship is, you know, we hear it in our church. We have stewardship weeks, we have stewardship seminars, sermons on stewardship. We've heard about it so many times, and I think often as young people we kind of detach ourselves when those seminars are being
It sounds boring many times.
yeah, I mean, we're thinking, you know, it's for the older people. Yeah. So why should we as young people even care about it?
I think one of the biggest mistakes that we make when we talk about stewardship, in many cases when people start talking about stewardship, they're talking about money. They're talking, and in the sense of money, they are really talking about tithes and offerings.
Yeah.
And so it puts some people off because it's like you're calling people to come to church just to tell them bring money and bring money. But stewardship is far greater than the issue of money. It's about life. It's about recognizing who God is and who we are. And when you start looking at stewardship in that light, it actually makes a lot of sense. It actually makes a lot of sense, and it's less boring.
Yeah. I mean, nobody, and the way our stewardship seminars are conducted as well, you know, like you said, it's just about money. And for the young person, it's like, well, I don't make any money, so I don't need to go.
And that's the problem, because stewardship is far more than just the money. It's about our life, actually. Yeah.
And you have a very interesting approach to stewardship. Like you're mentioning that it's about life, you know, even the very breath that we are given, it's not ours. And, you know, I've heard you share this so many times. I think from the time I was about 9, 8, I've heard you say this over and over again. And I think it's something that I feel every young person should learn, because I have adopted the same principles in ways that I can in my own capacity, and I would like for you to share that today, so you can go ahead.
Okay. I try to think about life in 5 simple, should I say brackets, right from the time that you're born. Okay. So when you're born, time begins. Okay. And time will continue. Everybody is given 24 hours. Just immediately you're born, you have 24 hours a day. What you do with that time is stewardship. Okay? Those who take care of time, who do not waste time, who redeem time, those are the people who, you know, God smiles at, but they are also the people who are, you know, successful. Those who waste time, obviously, are wasting life.
Wow.
And because they're also wasting life, God obviously is not the happiest with that kind of person. So it doesn't matter who you are born with time. Now, obviously, again, if you're going to be born, you must have a body.
Okay.
If you don't have a body, then maybe you're not born. Okay, so you've got a body, you've got time. This body as well is special. Those who take care of the body are also people who will be healthy, and therefore they'll be able to do things. That is also stewardship.
Okay.
So taking care of the body and making sure that you're healthy is very, very important. I'll go through the Bible verses later.
Okay,
So I'll just give the 5 things in the beginning. So we've got time and we've got a body. But each person, immediately they're born, they also have talents. There isn't a single human being who doesn't have a talent. Maybe you haven't discovered it, but every single person on earth has some talent. In fact, God did not make us spares. There is no spare of me. And people talk about cloning and things like that, but there is no clone of me. I am who I am, and there is nobody else like me. I like to talk about the fact that out of the 7 billion people around the world, I've got unique fingerprints, which is why every country that you go in, the first thing they want to do is take your fingerprint. It's almost as if saying, when you're on this earth, you need to leave your fingerprints.
Yeah.
You need to leave something. There is a purpose, there is a reason why you are on this earth. So everybody's been given a talent to fulfill the purpose for which they were born. So we've got time, we've got a body, we've got a talent. But now this is one of the problems that we have. The next thing is that because of the talent and because of the purpose that we have, every single person should have something to do.
Okay.
So whether it's work or business or school, whatever it is, you have to do something. If you're going to laze the days away, if you're going to sleep the days away, if you're just going to do nothing, you are wasting life.
And that's a very big statement to waste life.
Yes. You're wasting life. So even as young people, I know, I've seen some young people who will spend their whole life in the bedroom doing nothing. Others look like they're doing something. They also waste life the whole day in front of a TV screen. Okay? So they'll spend hours and hours be in front of a TV screen.
And now it's
nothing really happening, nothing being generated. You're just sitting there on a couch and watching the screen. So one needs to do something. Now, here comes the equation. If you look at your life from the day you were born to this day, you'll see that yes, you've got time, you've got a body, and you've got talents, whether you sing or talk or play, football or whatever it is. You've got some talent, okay, and probably you have something to do. Every one of us, if we look at that, that's basically us.
Okay.
If I were to break down my life, I will break it down into those. Maybe there's something else, I haven't figured it out yet. But the last thing that comes through is if you use time wisely, if you use your body and keep it healthy, you use the talents that you have, God has given you, in something, you most probably will end up with money. So the salary that we have is actually the end result of using time, having a healthy body, using talents in the occupation, and then we get money. Probably why people say money is life. Okay. So if, in fact, okay, you do not recognize who God is, then the money that you have in the end is yours. If you do not recognize who God is, the life that you have, you think is yours. But that's a huge mistake. When we recognize that God has created us and He has done so much for us in every aspect of our lives, and we recognize that we are not our own, then our life changes. So the issue of giving, people will not ask you to give. You will give because you are recognizing who God is and what He's done for you. So let's start again.
Yeah.
In terms of time, there's a story in the Bible, very quickly, Luke chapter 12, verse 20. This rich guy, he had produce and he harvested, and he says, you know what I'll do? Next year I'm going to build bigger barns and I'm going to fill them, and when they're filled, I'll then drink and be merry. Luke 12, verse 20 says, then God said to him, fool, who told you that you'll reach tomorrow? Today, tonight, your life will be taken away from you.
Sure.
Whether we like it or not, time isn't ours. You can try and do anything with time, but controlling time, we really don't have the power. There are times, even coming here, I decided that I would be here before 12 o'clock. And then there was a slow tractor in front of me. I can't control it. Time is going. And then I can't stop it. I can't stop. Time flows. So every second of my life is real. It's not a rehearsal. And it goes. It just goes. I can't control time. The only one who can control time is God.
That's God.
So if we recognize that the time that we have is God's, then maybe we'll be a little more careful with what we do with our time, other than waste it. The second part is the body.
Yes.
Now, we think, I can eat anything, I can do anything with my body. And I guess you can. But
It's a
obviously
choice,
you will be destroying your body and destroying your life. And some people, look at themselves and don't really appreciate who they are. But I'd like to say this. 1 Corinthians 6, verse 19 and 20 says that we were bought with a price, a high price for that matter, the blood of Jesus. God Himself loved us so much, as one musician put it, He loved us so much that He would rather die than live without us. And so He came and died so that we can be His children. And not just children. I love the way the Bible puts it. It says we are heirs to the kingdom. So this big, gigantic, holy God calls me an heir. And that's precious. And so we ought to take care of our bodies. The third thing, obviously, we were talking about is talents. Every single person has talents. And when you read through Matthew 25 and verse 13 going down, the parable of the 10 talents.
Yes, the famous one.
Yes, so the parable of the talents, rather. So one had 5, the other had 2, and the last one had a single talent. And I think it was deliberate that one had one talent.
Okay.
Just to emphasize that every single person has one. Now there are, people with multi-skills and so on, maybe they have more than one. But minimum, every single person has a single, at least one talent. And these things, you can't say that before you were born, I did this and did that so that I come up with, I am born with the talent to sing or anything like that. So the talents that we have are God-given. Okay, it's not things that we conjure up. Then we have the issue of, you know, things to do.
Yes.
Occupation. And granted, when we're doing school, we obviously want to work someday. There are several passages that you could relate to, but one of the things that I think very important for young people and even older people to know, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, even in history, was one of the greatest kings, and he built things and so on and so forth. And he thought very highly of himself.
Yeah.
Until one day he woke up and went mad and started eating grass.
Yeah.
The brains that we have, the fact that we can work in a job from the first day to the last day of the month and get paid, it's not because we're very intelligent. There are people who have actually gone mad while at work.
Sure.
Others have died and things like that. So the fact that we have occupation, it's not us.
Okay.
Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 18 says that we need to remember our God, for it is Him who gives us the power to earn wealth.
Yeah.
And so whether we have a job or whether we're doing school, we need to recognize that we have that opportunity. Others don't have those opportunities, but it's all from God. Now, going back to the equation, if time is from God, if the body
Is from God.
If the talents are from God, if the occupation that we have is from God, and when you combine these things, you end up with some money, then the money that we make is also
God's.
God's.
Now, before you continue, we'll be right back after the song.
Sakara feraine akara funa sakara felaiwe koma chinsisi chachi
Somojo
Welcome back. Before the song, we were talking about stewardship, and my dad was sharing the 4 elements that will help us make money, which is time, body, talent, and occupation. We stopped just before the 5th part, the 5th element, which is money. You mentioned that when we discover that time is not ours, when body is not ours, talent is not ours, and also occupation. If we realize that these 4 things come from God, then we'll realize that when we combine these 4 elements, the 5th element, which is then money, is also from God.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And so if you recognize that, then the responsibility that you have towards money completely changes. Because now you begin to realize that if I'm getting money, it's because of God. And so when I look at that money, I no longer look at it as mine.
Okay.
Exclusively. I now start saying, okay, God has done so much for me. What can I do in return? Because without Him, I would not have life. Without Him, I would probably be dead. Without Him, I wouldn't have the talent that I have. Without Him, I wouldn't have the job that I have. And so your response in terms of money completely changes. But the other thing, I think, and when it comes to money, I think there are 2 things that I have also believed it helps us to keep our sanity and to keep us in check in terms of stewardship. Yes, we give offerings and we return tithe, but one of the other things that is our responsibility is to take care of each other. When I recognize also that when I'm working, I've got a talent, he's got a talent, she's got a talent, all of us have different talents. For us to get anything done, we need to combine talents.
Okay.
And to recognize that each person is special. Even the lowest employee in the organization is special. Extremely special. When we recognize each other as being children and heirs to God's kingdom, we start to look at each other even differently. So if I have a little more than that special child, and that special child has a need, then possibly I have been placed in my position to help that person in need.
And I think that's where the struggle comes in as well.
Yes. Stewardship is not just about giving at church.
Yeah.
It is also about taking care of each other and taking care of the environment and so on and so forth, taking care of our bodies. So stewardship goes beyond just offerings in church. Okay, it also goes to the responsibility that we extend to other people. And so I don't know why Jesus said it, but sometimes I get the hunch that when he said the poor will be with you always, it's almost like he put us in check. Because of the poor, when we give, we remember that God has other special children who we need to also
take care of and
look after. But at the same time, we need to recognize who God is in our lives and who we are. Some people think that, you know, all these things are you know, going to help them in life. Yes, money helps and so on and so forth. But see, we come with nothing and we'll leave with nothing.
True.
When we were born, we didn't choose what to wear. When we die, we will not choose what to wear. People will decide, oh, this corpse needs to be dressed in this way. And so we come with nothing. We live with nothing. So it's important to recognize who we are.
And we often hear of being good stewards. You've mentioned, of course, that stewardship is everything to do with life. It's everything to do with God. But what are some of the practical steps that maybe we as young people can also take into becoming good stewards?
Well, it starts from the morning. What are you going to do with your time?
Okay.
So plan your day. You know, plan your day. This is what I'm going to do, and make it as efficient as possible. Plan your life. Some people walk around without goals, but plan your life, and you can plan. When I was 13, I planned my life up to the age of 40.
Wow.
I decided this is what I'm going to study, and so on and so forth. Plan your life. And set goals. Some people keep shifting goals, but write it down, put it on a wall, and follow it. Okay, so if you say, I'm going to finish school in 5 years, make sure you finish school in 5 years. Find out what you need to do to finish school in 5 years. Time management. So the second thing, obviously, is your body. Please drink a lot of water. Eat properly. Exercise. Rest. Some people don't rest. Do all those things that will keep you healthy. Take care of your body. So as a young person, loafing is not going to help. You need to be active. You need to do things. And please use your brain sometimes. I know there's a tendency today of using phones for everything. Try to use your brain to capture things. Use your talents. So get involved, whether it's at church or anywhere else. Get involved. And then obviously, while you're getting involved, you're not just using your talent, but you're also getting into some sort of occupation. And in the end, if you do that, you could end up with some money. But even if you don't, it's very, very rewarding. Very, very rewarding. So if you take care of each of those elements. Essentially you're being a good steward.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dad, for being here today.
You're welcome.
That was Karl Chokotho on stewardship. You were with me, your host, Adela Chokotho. I really hope that you have been blessed and inspired, but also have seen stewardship from a different perspective, and that these 4 elements will become practical and evident in your own lives. You're with me, Adela Chokotho, right here on Hope Channel Malawi with your program Energ-Aid. Join me again next week, and remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you.